welcome everybody back. It's Jump Off Live here. I am that dude named Dave. A little bit shorter cast here because we're doing something a little different today. We're doing a reaction video to shows we had last Wednesday between Mikey and Dr. Zoe, who we got on right now. Mikey, Dr. Zoe, how's it going today?
Good.
Good, going great. Yeah.
Let me level set for our audience here. Shout out to everybody checking out the shows Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. We had a hot topic. We were talking Wednesday regarding red pill and blue pill and alpha and beta, and it just really got heated. I mean, people's voices were getting elevated. Me and JD were going at it, you know, calling dudes simps and things of that nature, and dudes getting their butts kicked. But Mikey felt the need to change the energy. So Mikey was like, hey, let's do something here. So Mikey, we're going to go ahead and play the video, and I'm going to do a little play-by-play here to show how Dr. Zoe, who was so, you can see from her body, was so heated, but then Mikey just kind of wore her down, so now they're best friends. So I'm going to kick it off here, and then we'll get the reaction as we go here. So here we go.
Are you a pretty good imaginative person?
Yeah.
You are? Come close to the camera.
We can't see it.
Can you put this stuff up, Dave? I want you to close your eyes.
What was that, Mikey?
Can't see it.
Can you switch it, like the view, so that we go in the side?
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah,
No
let me
problem.
kick it back off again.
I know. I want you to think of a cube right now.
There you
Can
go.
you imagine a cube?
I was so distrustful.
I want you to describe the cube. Is it big or is it small?
Medium sized.
Pay attention to the guy's
Okay,
faces,
looking
though.
into the cube, is it more of a 3D or is it actually in a flat surface?
3D.
3D. Now, looking at that into the cube, are you able to see through? Is it solid or is it see-through?
Solid.
Solid. Now, looking at that cube, is it actually raised from the ground or is it actually flat on the ground?
The edge of it touches the ground on one corner.
Because it's a 3D, so you have it like a diamond, right?
So, hey, stop it really quick,
Am I
Dave.
guessing right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, did you see what I did there? Just in case that you were peeking, I went ahead and mimicked your finger movements.
So I noticed you started using your hand.
Mm-hmm. So if you saw
Interesting,
when you
Mike.
described it, I'm like, all right. Because see, this is the thing where it's not really like me doing it, but it's like no matter what, my goal is, because you did a small body movement there. Me to be respectful of you, just in case you're cheating and you're peeking, I'm gonna say I understand. That's my way of, like, if your eyes were open and you saw my fingers go that way, it's me saying I understand what you're talking about. So it's this. So
Yeah, the level of
Diamond shape.
distrust
Okay.
was intense. I was like, oh, where's he going with this?
So I'm gonna start it back up again.
And touching. So it's barely touching the stuff. So now looking at that, I want you to pretend and I want you to imagine a ladder. Can you think of a ladder right now? Can you imagine a ladder somewhere in the cube? Where's the ladder to the cube?
It's not touching. No, I can't imagine it touching the cube because my cube is spinning.
The cube is spinning. Interesting. All right. So where's the ladder?
Laying on the ground.
Laying on the ground. It's so just.
Are you
it's flat.
noticing you're
can't
starting
even
to smile
climb it,
more?
right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll stop
There.
it here. Yeah, I noticed the facial expression. Seemed like you're thinking extra hard here. So I want to ask, so when you were thinking, were you actually focusing on Mikey's questions, or were you actually thinking, I don't want this guy to slip me up, or both?
So as he, what I think what he started to do was the details that I had to imagine made me forget how distrustful I was. Like after a while, now I'm picturing the cube spinning on the edge, and I'm thinking about like the Louvre in Paris and how the pyramid comes out and touches the ground inside. And the more that I visualize all of the details, the less I hated him. Like in my mind, I was like, I forgot I was beefing with him. Even though we're not beefing in real life,
exactly.
but the contentiousness was gone.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you pay attention to what she said, was that she goes, yeah, it's in an angle. But if you then see what I did was, I said I became more descriptive, and I say, so it's like a diamond shape, right? Because that's me also once again confirming of like, I just want to make sure that I hear what you're saying.
Right.
And it's just taking back to the part where men need to do a better job of making a woman understand that he hears you.
Very important.
You know,
Let's pick it back up here. Let's see how Zoe slowly transforms.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Now I want you to go ahead and imagine a horse.
Okay.
Do you see a horse?
Mm-hmm.
Describe to me the horse.
It's a tan-colored horse.
Okay. Give me a more description. What else do we know?
With a long tail and just, has a couple white spots on it.
White spots in it? All right. From all that stuff, I want you to imagine a storm. Imagine a storm right now. Where's the storm?
Imagine a storm in the same scene?
Just
There's a
imagine
lot going
storm.
on. Okay.
Does a storm enter?
is okay. Got a storm. Mm-hmm. But you're muted.
Oh, did you pause it, Dave?
No. I was asking Zoe, were you confused this part here? You seemed like you were really in depth, but you kind of got thrown off here.
A part of me was wondering, like when you watch a horror movie and you're just like the last scare in the movie. So I was like, he's going to jump out any minute now, and it's going to be the bullshit. Where is the bullshit?
Yeah, it's not and also if you pay attention, like she's not like the way her hand is there. It's no longer about that. It's more like now that's a thinking pose. That's a thinking pose of what are you talking about, the storm, because she already removed her hand before that. So if you probably went back a little bit, her hand is gone already. So she already put off her guard already. So for me, wise reading body language, the hand is right there is because it's a thinking hand now, not a curious hand. So the fact that it's there now, it's more like her now, because the way she asked the question about the storm, a storm, what do you mean? And so now she's in the thinking process. So it's not like where it's a negative body language towards a more positive, because now she's really into thinking about it, especially when you start looking at, some guys will look at this like she's mad right now, but no, that's her curiosity look right there is what she is right now. It's not
my curiosity look and my angry look very similar.
And they do have a lot of similarities. The only difference that you start seeing with those things is the ridges right here when somebody's mad.
Yeah.
But the curiosity look, the brows will raise up the same exact way as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's continue. Let's see what goes on here now.
Where is it at to the cube?
I don't picture it near the cube.
So it's not on top of the cube. It's far away somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Is it if it's a fucked up storm, heavy storm, or is it like a very light storm?
Like a summer storm.
Summer
And
storm.
light
So just
rain.
light rain. Okay, perfectly fine. So open your eyes. You know what that all means?
Not a damn thing.
Now,
No,
see,
something.
okay, hold on.
I just
Pause
want
this
to see
really
if I can
fast,
mess around
right?
with you and see if they can do something.
Pause it. So this right here is her fence up on me. She's like, he expects me to say something like it means something, right? So, but no, I'm not gonna say that because I'm not gonna fall for this. It doesn't mean a damn thing, right? But the problem is, if I have an answer for both of that stuff already. If she said it, what does it mean? And then I'll say it doesn't mean anything. I just wanted to mess with you. But
Right.
but then she reverses at me. So this is like this is a good way to kind of look at when you're trying to meet girls somewhere. You're trying to, you're gonna have the shit test as they call it sometimes. And will the guy be uncomfortable that he loses, that the guy leaves, and the woman's like, see, I know he didn't have the balls to do this anyway, so I got away from this one. Same exact thing. It's like, okay, she hits me with that. I'm not gonna be put them for my frame, and I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, well, yeah. So I agree. I'm not, because that's the thing is, a lot of people don't understand when it comes to crisis management. When it comes to like, when there's like, for example, a hostage situation, you never disagree with the person that's saying what he wants. Like, you have to agree first. That's part of negotiation. Agree to what they say, and then move on from there. Because if you create a problem between there, nothing's going to happen. Nothing is going to move forward to a positive sense as long as it's a positive thing for both of you.
So before I hit play, you're basically saying, Mike, saying that women are like working with like in a hostage negotiation situation.
I know he was gonna say-
Relationships. It's a hostage negotiation in relationships.
No, don't put words in my mouth. I said in regards
I'm playing,
to,
Mikey. I'm playing.
hey, no worries, man. But that's a good thing. But because other people may think it that way. No,
True.
What I'm saying is that when it comes to an argument or any disagreement or any of that stuff, and that's where you need to be. Like I tell a lot of guys when they get into problems with girls, when they're with their girlfriend's mad at them, they say, you're late. What's the first thing a guy's gonna say? I wasn't late. I was just hanging with the fellas and this and that. And now you just admitted to you're late the wrong way because you confirmed to her that your friends were more important. Whereas a guy can just say, honey, you're right, I'm late.
And that diffuses the whole thing because the thing is, the woman's anticipating all the arguments. She's already argued with you. She's argued in her head before you even walk through the door.
Yes.
So the moment you walk in and you're just like, you know what? I'm late. Okay.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
just takes the whole thing because now all the arguments I already had before you got here are gone. So no, he's right about that.
Just say, you know what, honey, I'm late. You're right. Is there something that we need to do that I missed that we can finish right now? And she'd be like, no, she wasn't supposed to say that. You know, malfunction, because she was expecting every single thing. Now, I'm not saying it's a Jedi mind trick on the women. I'm saying it's understanding a woman's mentality. And I think, like I said, a lot of men didn't do a good job learning that type of situation, how to frame it correctly. Admit that you're wrong, because in the end, what are you going to do? You are going to say you're wrong anyways. The guy is going to eventually be like, listen, honey, you're right, I'm wrong. Because eventually the guy is just going to succumb to the whole thing. But the biggest problem is in a long-term relationship, if the man always feels that he has to like, because if he messes up the argument, he just demoted himself. Now he has to work harder to try to be back there and still go up above her a little bit to prove a point. But if you just go ahead and say, I'm wrong, you don't demote yourself. And at the same time as you don't look bad in the woman's mind, because when all that stuff adds up, when a woman feels that you're always below her, there is going to be, it's going to be where she won't have respect for you, kinda. And that can cause problems in the future. Whereas let's tackle it together. Now let's move forward. You want food? Because in the end, you're late. The reason why she's mad is she's hungry.
Mm-hmm.
The reason she's mad, she cooked food that's used to be hot, but now is cold because she was actually waiting for you to have dinner.
And she was worried. Mm-hmm.
She's worried. She didn't, and that's the thing. It's like, I can understand if there's women out there who are just really vindictive and really mean, but in the average of things, if you actually can say, I get it. I mean, another one that I teach a lot is, don't say I'm sorry. Don't ever tell anybody I'm sorry. Right? Because if you say you're sorry, you are admitting guilt. And that person that you say sorry to will actually use that against you if they're a manipulative person. The best way to tell somebody is forgive me. Because you're actually telling the person to take the ownership to actually give you forgiveness. If you say I'm sorry, if I say I'm sorry if I did something, the woman or the man, let's say, woman or man, the woman or the man on the opposite side can literally go to me and say, that's right, you better be sorry. There's no accountability. Whereas if I say to somebody, like, you know what, please forgive me, I made a mistake, I'm late, she or he has the right to be able to say, you know what, I forgive you. She's able to say that she gave you forgiveness without anybody having to say sorry. And it's all about communication, the way it works. But yeah, but as you can see, look, she's smiling now. Yeah.
She's smiling.
And
So
the rest of the team are smiling. Yeah.
Yep.
So let's keep it going here.
Do something.
Right. You just got me to pay attention to you, listen to you, and follow the instructions.
But most men can't keep a woman's attention enough to be able to have a conversation.
I do this every day with patience.
Exactly.
You get them to follow instructions.
Hold on. It's not done. It's actually something that I made you do. The cube is a description of your ego as a person. It's a description of you. So the fact that you have a medium cube, that means you have a medium ego. You don't think you're a person who's like really fucked up, I'm the shit, or you're at the same time is like, I'm not anybody. So the fact that that's who you are as a cube, the fact it's 3D, that means there's multi sides of you as a person. That you are a person that there's a lot of things going on with you in life, that you have so much stuff about you. The fact that it is solid, right? It's a solid cube.
Yeah.
Right? The fact it's solid, that means you don't share yourself automatically with everybody. You're a person that's very guarded, but at the very same time, is when you want to open up to somebody, you can open up, but you make the decision to be able to open up for a person, right? The fact that it's actually body language, she did say yes, but she
so
nodded.
it looks like a diamond. So that's your ego. So that means your ego is priceless. You value yourself as a person.
Mhm.
What the funny part is, the ladder is a description of your ambitions in life. The fact that the ladder is actually in the ground, that means you don't need to climb your ambitions because you already made your ambitions in life. You wanted to be a doctor, now you're a doctor. So you don't need to climb it. So if it's a ladder that's hard to climb, that means and it's close by to the cube, that means you know where you want to be, but at the very same time it's hard to climb. If the ladder is far away, that means you know where you want to be, but it's far there, right? Now here's the fun part. You described a tan-colored horse. The horse is your ideal man. Looking into the horse, where is it located?
Now you're confused.
Before we get to the horse here, I just want to say that
Yeah.
the people in the chat were like, "Where's Mike?" I'm gonna get right to it. People in the chat were like, "Where's Mikey going with this? I'm losing."
They're like, I
Mikey.
want to know what the punchline is.
Hey, where's the punchline? Because we're stopping this here for people watching this, but this was going on now for at least like 5 or 6 minutes here right now. So this is kind of
Look at
getting
the
drawn out here. So I'm gonna hit play here because you see those faces like, what?
Ideal man, what?
Get it to the cube right now.
It's near the horse. They're close to each other
Is it in front of each other, back of it, and the side?
on the side.
So that means you want a man who's a tan-colored long tail. I don't even want to know what you mean by long tail. Okay.
Jamaican man who should be dissing.
All right.
Lots.
All right. But you want a tan-colored horse. And you want a man who's actually by your side. That's your ideal man, is for him to be by your side.
Okay.
If you find somebody. So now looking at the storm describes your problems in life. They do exist, as you say, but it's a light summer rain, so it's not really that bad, and it's far away from the cube. So they do exist in your life, but it's there. So if I explain all that to you right now, and I just met you, we only talked here, and we have some great conversations and go back and forth. But
Yeah.
as of me describing you as a person who never met you personally one-to-one, from a scale of 1 to 10, right there, what's the number that you can give me that I guessed you accurately?
I'd say about an 8.
Okay, so if I met you in the club and I start talking to you and I know more about you, instead of me sliding down on the side and say, what's your number, what's your sign, and I actually go in and have a conversation with you to be able to find more about you, to know more about you as a person that describes you, would that give me a head start over other people?
Well, first of all, the fact that you're communicating with me in a respectful way, that would be it.
8 out of 10, Zoe. And then you can see how the reaction, like, well, first of all, man, your guard was completely brought down.
Yes.
You opened up, the wall was gone. The whole energy, not only from the screen, but the chat had changed as well.
Chat, yes.
Mike, you literally had just took the wall down so we can have a civil conversation with
Yeah. And the guys were all like perplexed too. Let's
Yeah.
even the guys in the chat were like, we're losing Mike, but you know what though? It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, right, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, but see, the thing though is like when I started learning more about communication and stuff like that, it was to actually talk and learn more from people. So like when I do those routines, I do it because I want to meet people, and it's not because I want to pick up people, right? And so that's just where it was. It was just like, you know what? Let's change it up, because you can only go so long where everybody is going crazy and mad. I mean, and it was and if the tension was there already in our group of people who we're in a safe environment and we're having this stuff and the chat room is going crazy, I don't think that any message that we come up with or we give is going to get translated on any positive sense. So it got to the point for me, I was just like, listen, let's remove this. And I think that as any good person who wants good things to happen, that's where somebody needs to step up. You know, whether it's the villain of the group, like I'm technically the villain, right? So I understand my role, but at the very same time that's where I'm at. I'm just like, you know what? No, this is done. This conversation about this kind of stuff is done. Now let's just have now a real conversation, or show an example of how we need to talk to each other. You know, because Dr. Zoe, has anybody ever approached you in a bar that within 8-10 minutes kind of dissected who you are as a person?
And you mean I have to come clean, I have to be transparent.
Sure.
And 100% honest. I wanted to give you a 10 out of 10, but I was like, nah, I'll go with 8. Because you were right you were right on more than one level. Because, the idea that I think I really mean that. For someone to come up to me in any kind of bar situation and to want to almost pay attention. It's almost like you were. It was almost like we became this nucleus. Everybody else was around it. Women kill for that. The idea that a man is going to devote that attention and communicate with you respectfully. A lot of women would be like me. You're going to close your eyes around a stranger in a bar? No, sir.
Yes.
But then to get to the point where now she's into that space of creativity, because the thing is, the assignment for me was be as creative as I wanted to be. What did I see in my mind? But you also are in my mind. And so if someone were to engage me in a way that I could open up and let them in my mind, already that person is going to be at an advantage over somebody else. Because it's not for now, it's taken away that level of you had access to a precious space, which is my mind. And now let me see what you did with it. So that's why when I came out of it, I was back on guard. Like, so now I let you in my mind. What are you going to do? What is this about? And I think that's a big part of it. But you were really right, 10 out of 10, because I do like the idea of somebody to partner with who would be by my side. And in fact, the person that I'm dating was watching me do the show. It was very interesting because I was like, this is so weird. That was also very on point with the idea of ego. Like, I don't think I'm all that, but I don't think I'm chopped liver. I do think I'm the girl who has a lot to offer, but I'm not going to walk out here like I'm going to shut down the show. And that's how I view myself. And I do feel like I've worked hard and I've gotten to where I'm happy. Whatever problems, I can face it because I keep my problems manageable, so to speak. So when you did all those things, and I was like, wow, this is interesting. If more men could even take the time to understand how to communicate with women, where they could let their guard down enough to do that exercise, just to get them to close their eyes. You know how hard it would be to get the average woman to close her eyes and participate?
Very hard. Very hard.
Because the funny thing was, my friends who were watching were like, you actually did that? Girl, you crazy. I'm not closing my eyes. He was going to play you. But I figured, you know what? All right, let's see what the exercise is about. And I dare any man out there to learn the skills and try to see if they could get a woman to just, get that one-on-one interaction, drown out all the scene. It takes a lot of ego and confidence to get a woman to follow instructions, period.
Yeah, or to be rejected. Because like you said, a lot of women is like, I ain't doing that for you. And so that's where, like, when a woman says that to me, but if a woman does say that to me, like, I ain't closing my eyes for you, then I'm like, then you're not special. That's what I'll say in a playful banter. I'm like, then you're not special. What do you mean I'm not special? Of course I'm special. Here, I'll close my eyes. And that's how it happened. And it's really the truth. Women reject men in the first level, or we'll say if it's a video game, the first level is to see, are you willing to take it up to the next level? And if you're not willing to take it up to the next level, then that's a problem, right? But of course, it saves the woman from having that first defense. And then the other side, the guys are like, why should I have to pass the first level? I should just win. No, guys, because how we did it, if we take it back to the old school days, you had to be the toughest to work hard for it. The women are, and what happens is this perfect example of what happened with our chat was a perfect example. In the first half, there's going to be guys who sees that like, oh, here's a bunch of feminists. Here's a bunch of this. That's going to be the narrative. But then my narrative will be in the end when we did that thing. I'm like, no, do you see how feminine she really is? She's just a strong woman who's defending her line, her stuff. That's why it's like that in the beginning. But for a woman to just, without any hesitation, you lean forward, you close your eyes. That right there is a perfect definition of a feminine woman. But the thing though is a lot of men can't see that because they have the first issues.
Right.
Where I always tell guys, work a little bit harder because you'll be surprised what you're going to find in there and as much as possible. But I also take it to the other side where there's a lot of men that take advantage of these type of knowledges.
Yeah.
Then they play around. It goes to that, with power, with great power comes great responsibility and stuff like that. And that right there is the dilemma. And you wouldn't tell me those deep things about you. The reason why is I had to put you in a position to share that with me without you saying that you are closed off, that you are all that. Most women are not going to share that because you guys have the guards. But by me having you close your close your eyes. By me then saying, let's just talk about a cube and not you. And but like you said, a lot of guys are not willing to learn the basics of communications.
And not, and then like you said, a man would never. I remember once Fantasia did this whole thing about being submissive to her husband, and I remember I was talking to my ex. This is before we divorced, and I said to him, I was like, I feel like I'm a submissive woman. And I mean, when he was done laughing and he wiped the corner of his mouth and drooled a little bit, like he said, "You not where?" And the funny thing is, after knowing somebody 10 years, he had never seen that side of me let my guard down. He hadn't seen the person who would follow instructions. If he watched the show, he'd be like, "She actually just did that, man." So in a lot of ways, some men kind of get a visual of what they think you are, and then you're stuck there. Because I feel like I've been stuck in the role of this. She's a woman. She's a deal maker. She's a doctor. She's an entrepreneur. She's a ball buster. And then people may not get to know who I am, and like it's in the solid cube, right? You may not see it. David knows me for years, right? We're talking about years. He's seen me through my growth phase, and I can tell you that there's a lot of vulnerability, but most people won't see that. And you have to know that you're not going to get to the middle of the onion. Some of these women are onions. You got to know that there's layers, and it takes a confident man to take that rejection and go back in.
Mm-hmm.
So
on that note, I think we're going to end this video here. I want everybody to check out Jump Off Live. This is Women Can't Handle That Men Know the Truth. That was streamed on August 12th, August 11th, actually, that this aired. This is a masterclass of someone recognizing a problem and diffusing the problem. I encourage everybody to check out the video because it was heat.
Yeah.
It was hot. Everybody was getting into it. People in the chat were like, "Yo, what's going on? Y'all need to calm down." And then literally we had this clip here that just changed the whole trajectory of the show. I didn't know. I said, "Yo, we gotta do a reaction video. We gotta talk about this here." And so now we got Mikey and Zoe. They're best friends now. And so
we understand each other.
Yeah, exactly.
And
now
and
I
I'm
can't mess with her.
curious
Now I
too-
can't mess with her anymore. I'm like, crap, I already know her. She is a nice person. She's just a little bit, just hold it back a little bit. Nah, no more mean word. Bring the next person, please.
But you know what, people? Check us out Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, Jump Off Live. We got Mikey. You actually are branding a new channel now. Should I say that now or should we wait, Mike?
Might as well. I mean, like I it's going to be called the Integrated Men's Network. So I kind of figured of like, since I talk too much already as it is, and when I say like there's not enough women trying to lead women the right way sometimes, and then hopefully that grows. Same thing for me is like I want to create a channel in regards to not lose men too deeply where they become vindictive against women, and I think that there is a fine line to be able to bring a man to level themselves up. So yeah, so hopefully by next week we're going to launch it, Integrated Men Network.
Nice.
And eventually hopefully have a movement out of it.
That's right. Shout out to Mike there.
Yes.
Dr. Zoe Stallings. We can see you at the Must Clinic. You want to give a shout out on that too as well?
Yes, you can check me out at the Must Clinic, and the website is mustclinic.health, and on all social media platforms is at Must Clinic. And what we have coming up for the fall is educational content about some viruses besides COVID. We're going to talk about RSV, which is another virus that can impact the elderly and the young children. We'll always make sure we keep you informed. So check out our stories on Instagram, Twitter, and we're also on LinkedIn.
Great. So on that note, we're going to sign off here. Check us out for our next episode on Jump Off Live. Once again, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. For Mikey and Zoe, for my other fellas, JD, John, and Jeremy, and Johnny Danger, we're out of here. That name Dave, Jump Off Live.